Hey guys, my name is Mohsen, and I'm here to share with you my GMAT experience and how TTP helped me achieve a score of 740 with a Q49 and verbal 41. It's a quick background story about who I am. I'm currently working as a sales operations team lead at an HR consulting firm. Uh, Before that, I did a double major at Western University in medical science and biology. While working full-time, I decided to pursue a business management certificate at University of Toronto. And a few months ago, I also started my own digital design consulting firm. About a year and a half ago, I also decided to pursue my MBA, and that's when I started my GMAT journey. So, at the start of when I was studying for GMAT, I decided to just buy some secondhand Manhattan prep books from a friend of mine, and that was the only source I used. That plus OG Guide. So I had never taken an aptitude test before GMAT, and I figured that it would be like any other university exams. So just read over the Manhattan prep books, did the OG Guide questions, and that's it. I felt like that was enough to write the GMAT. I knew that I had a strong foundation in math, just coming from sciences. I did also a lot of math courses in university. I thought I'll be fine, but I knew my verbal was a little, it was lacking because English is also not my first language. So I spent a little bit more time maybe on critical reasoning, especially sentence correction. So, not knowing really what I'm facing, I booked a time slot to write the test in person on September 2020. Went into the exam. I just felt like I didn't know anything. Felt like I was guessing every question, and I was right. I saw the score of a 580 with Q42 verbal 28. So I walked out of the test center knowing that I have to completely change the way I was studying and start over. So disappointed, I went on GMAT Club, put a post of what happened post. How come I scored 680, 700 in my the cat tests on MBA.com and GMAT's website, but ended up getting a 580. Scott was one of those person replied to me, telling me that maybe I have some lingering weaknesses and my foundations may be weak. He was right. So I did a little bit of research after that, trying to figure out what resources to use because I wanted to start over. Seeing Scott reply to me, and plus like a lot of research that I did, TTP seemed like a really good option. So I signed up for that week trial for $1 just to see what the course is about. And right off the bat, I love the structure and the organization of courses and modules. I someone who's busy and was handling multiple projects. I wanted to dedicate 2 hours a day just to studying and nothing else. And that's what TTP offered. So after doing my diagnostic tests, it provided me with exactly the modules, questions to go through, and it was very, very well structured. And that's really what sold TTP to me from the start. So I gave it a try. Signed up for 4 months, and put in my 2 hours. I studied for about. I signed up in October, and I studied until March. Yeah, around March. So it would take around 6 or 7 months. And TTP really broke down complex ideas, especially in Quant, where, for example, before signing up for TTP, I thought combinations and permutations were really difficult. I couldn't quite understand it, and TTP really made it seem simple. It showed me how to tackle these type of questions and how to tackle the 700 plus questions, 700 level difficulty questions, and how to solve them in less than 2 minutes. And that's another thing that really stood out. They show you the fundamentals of each module and how to solve them, and how to solve any similar questions in under 2 minutes. And that's what really GMAT is. So once I finished the entire module, I felt super ready, signed up for my second attempt around when it was on March 15th. So took the test online, and felt a lot more comfortable, considerably more comfortable. And a few days later, got my result, and it was a 680. Much better. It was a 100-point improvement, but I still didn't feel like I could have done better. I knew I could have done better. For Quant, I got a 49. My verbal was a 34. So right then and there, I knew what I needed to focus on was verbal. But I was a little stubborn, and I thought that I knew everything, and I'm just gonna reschedule it for 2 weeks later and go write it. And that was my mistake. I booked it again for April 8th, April 7th before the transition, and I did even worse. I got a 660. My Q went up to 50, but my verbal dropped to 29. I realized that I was burnt out, so decided to take 2 weeks off, a week off. And in the meantime, this is another thing that TTP really stood out for me, is that during that week off that I had, I reached out to Jeff and Scott, told them my situation, and Jeff got back to me with a study plan, that what I should do for the next month or two to get the score I wanted. I told him I want a score of somewhere between 720 to 740, and that's what I got. So took my week off, came back, started really going through Jeff's study plan with TTP, with the OG guide. I got the advanced questions from GMAT as well. It's their official new book that they came out with 300 just hard level questions. And yeah, once I finished those, I again felt super comfortable now with verbal. I really focused on verbal after when I came back, and dedicated my time 70% verbal, 30% quant, and decided to book my fourth attempt on June 17th. And yeah, 2 days before the exam, I did not look at any GMAT material. I went into the test room, felt super prepared, super refreshed, and I started just going through one question after another. Everything felt easy. There were questions from Quant that I solved, for example, 10 to 15 seconds. And that's when really TTP helps you. You come up with certain methodology that helps you solve these easy level questions in less than 30 seconds, where then you can actually dedicate some time into the hard level questions. Verbal, again, when I got to verbal, it felt considerably easier than what it felt like the times before. And yeah, just went through the entire verbal section, felt pretty confident about it. When I got to the IR section, I was just way too excited to see my score. I knew I did well. As so IR, I'm just answer questions like I didn't really work on them, hence the IR of 5. And then we got to the essay. I also followed TTP's advice on essay, used use those catchphrases, or like starting phrases, and the same format, and click next, and here it was, a 740 with Q49 and verbal 41. I couldn't believe it. I jumped out of my chair, and I finally got the score I wanted, plus 20, and my target was around 720, but I had a 740. I ran out of the test center, emailed back Scott, told him my score, and yeah, it's unbelievable. But got the score I wanted, and thanks to TTP, they really, like I mentioned, they really help you understand GMAT and what it's really asking you, and really helps you break down the more difficult modules, more difficult topics, and like I said, TTP makes GMAT make sense. It's becomes easier to tackle, becomes easier to solve these questions, and really makes GMAT a breeze. So I just wanted to give a final shout out to Scott, Jeff, and Team TTP, and good luck to you guys and whoever's that's either started the GMAT journey or disappointed with the score you got. Just don't give up. Keep grinding. Keep studying, and guarantee you, at the end, you'll get the score you want.